Sunday evening, just around 7 p.m. and we finally had a decent day without any rain. So the bottom drain that I'm going to reseal is dry. I just finished giving a final wipe out to it. I'm also going to do the fitting on this side that I suspect might be the problem of the leak. Not sure, of course, but that's my kind of thinking. And then on this side over here is the other one that I'm going to do as well. So the product I'm going to use, I don't know if you have in the UK, I'm sure people in Canada are familiar with it. It is called Flex Seal, and it does come in various forms. This is the liquid form, the small container. It says, according to the directions, that it is suitable for use on EPDM rubber, which is what the liner is, as well as various plastics such as PVC and ABS. So I'm going to use that to get a coat on now. It should dry hopefully overnight. We are expecting, according to the weatherman, some more rain potentially overnight into tomorrow. Tomorrow sounds like it's going to be a warm day based on the forecast, but quite wet with potential thunder showers as well. So I'm going to get a coat on here now. In the next 2 or 3 days, depending again on the weather and the temperature, I'll get out and get at least a second coat on here before I start making any changes with respect to refilling the pond or anything like that. So I'm going to get started on it now. Once I have the coating on, I will come back to you and just let you see what I've done. Okay, the first coat is now on. Moving a little bit here to the bottom drain. So I have coated the drain all the way around on the surface here, around the gasket, etc. And also, though it's harder to see, I did the entire inside of the drain as well. I don't really think it's an issue, but thought, while I was here, might as well do that anyway. As I said, there would be, 1 to 2 more layers of the sealant on there. I have also done this fitting, and for some reason it didn't coat the white fitting as well as I had expected, but hopefully once it kind of dries on there and I put some more on, that will be hidden. If not, not a big deal as long as it seals around any potential leaks in it. And you can see I've done it well around the fitting itself, and I've also done it on the second return here. Same thing, a good layer around it also. So hopefully this is going to dry this evening before we do get any rain. And as I said, if it rains tomorrow, then I'm going to be kind of at a standstill for another day or so until it dries up a bit and I can get any water left over from the rain removed. So that's step number 1, and aiming in the right direction hopefully to get this taken care of. I'm really looking forward to getting things ready for the pond. Again, temperature today was about 14 degrees, calling for a low of about 5 tonight, and then by Wednesday down to 0 again with chance of snow flurries. So it's going to be kind of a miserable week weather-wise, but I am hoping I get enough dry spells that I can get in here and get 1 or 2 more coats on this as well. And then from that point on, I will start looking at refilling slowly just to keep an eye on the water level and try and determine where the leak might be coming from. What I did mention in a previous video, because the way the fittings are buried underground, was maybe digging a trench to access the pipework and to take it back to the filter pit. I have decided, based on time, effort, and the fact that I've just recently turned 72, that's beyond my capabilities at this point. So what I will do is, if I determine one of these fittings is leaking, is I will dig a smaller trench from the filter pit over to the pond, install some flexible 2-inch PVC piping, and just put the return over the wall of the pond. And I am considering, possibly adding a Baki shower. If that's the case, that would likely go down here in the wall of the pond, and I could just plumb it into that. So still a work in progress. Hopefully this is going to get the job done, and with any luck, by this time next week, I will be able to get some water back into the pond. So thank you all for sticking with me while I'm trying to do this, and I will update you on the next round of sealant and let you know how things are progressing from there on. Take care, and we'll be back soon. The saga to repair the potential leaks in the pond continues. Yesterday was a rather damp, miserable day with a lot of rain last night. And as you can see from this angle here, what was a dry pond bottom now has 2 or 3 inches of water in it. The bottom drain is completely submerged once again. And it is a very cool, gray, chilly day at the moment, although the sun is trying to peek through. You can see a little bit off in the distance there. Hopefully there's a little bit of blue sky coming. It is supposed to be a nicer day today and dry, although some of the cloud cover would seem to indicate otherwise. So what I am going to do now is get back into the pond, get the sump and the vacuum set up so I can pump the water out, dry things out, and then take the towel, get everything all dried so that I can get out here a little bit later on this afternoon and do another coat of sealant on the bottom drain and the 2 side fittings. So I'm going to get in there now. I'm sure you've all seen a vacuum in operation before, so I'm not going to bore anybody with that. I will take some more shots later on when I'm in doing another coating. And once I have finished getting the water out and things starting to dry up, I'm going to move on to the filter pit and install a new gate valve or slide valve from the bottom drain to the filters. And I will cover that off in a few minutes in another video clip. Thanks for watching. As many of you who use slide valves or gate valves knows, these do tend to leak over time, and this one has been leaking now for a couple of years. This is the one that comes from my bottom drain into the new setup I have for the Easy Pods. It's the one that I have previously connecting the bottom drain to the vortex unit on the pond, and I did try to get some replacement seals for it, but they were not available, at least not that I could find. So I purchased another valve, which is this one here. It's a 4-inch gate valve. It has the stainless steel paddle inside and then the stainless steel handle, so it is a really good quality. I also was able to purchase 2 brand new replacement seals, so that when the time comes, if it does start to leak, which it eventually will, I can take it out and replace the seals. Now, being that this is connected to the bottom drain, of course the issue is that the water level has to be below the input where the pipe comes up to the filter pit in order to make the change to the drain valve without completely flooding the pit. So that would mean emptying the pond by approximately 50%, and now that it is completely empty, to work on the leak issue that I was having, it's a perfect time to replace this valve. So I'm going to do that now. What that will entail in my situation here is undoing the rubber boot or the flexible connectors that you see here on the left of the pump, which goes directly to the bottom drain, or sorry, left of the valve, and then on the right of the valve, which is the feed pipe into the Easy Pod filters. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll show you once the new valve is in place, and hopefully everything will be good after that. So just bear with me for a little bit, and I will be back with an update once I have the valve in place. As you can see, I now have the old gate valve out of place on the drain connection line, and I've removed the connecting plumbing to the Easy Pod filter in order to make that accessible. So I'm going to get the new one now and get it in place once I just get something to wipe the boot off here. There was a little bit of water still in the pipe, so it's kind of muddy, and I just want to make sure the connection is clean and dry when I put it back together. So things are progressing nicely, and hopefully I will have an update showing that things are back in place very quickly. Be back with you soon. I am back again. The new valve that you can see has been installed. Did take a little bit of adjustment with the filters to get it into place. I've lowered them a tiny bit actually, just to increase the water level when they're running. I did notice when I was doing my test prior to the leak issue that I had, that because they are gravity fed and the pump was drawing the water through at a fairly quick rate, it was actually taking it down a reasonable distance in the filter, and they were still operating the way they're supposed to for easy pods, but the level was definitely down a bit lower than I liked to have them running. So I've dropped them down by about 1.5 inches, so they're going to be closer to the water level when everything is functioning, and still should not overflow when the pumps are turned off. So again, you can see the two of them there. Again, going into, as I pointed out previously, what will be the moving bed filters, the pump chamber here. You see the pump down in the bottom of it there, and the line at the bottom is the one that goes into my sump down here for the waste removal. And I am going to, in the next little bit, the next few minutes, get back into the pond. The sun is trying to come out. It's still kind of on the cloudy side, but the sun is trying to come out now, so hopefully things have dried up sufficiently in the pond to get in there, put another coat of sealant on the bottom drain. So and the two side fittings, I'm going to do that in the next little bit. Just going to take the dog for a quick walk before some lunch, and then we'll come back and seal another coat of the sealer on there, I should say, and possibly one more coat later in the week. I'm not sure yet, but I might do that. It's not a big deal as long as the weather holds for me. So we will see what happens. I say things are coming together here. I've checked all the fittings and tightened everything up in the filter pit. I still have to connect the air lines, etc. for the Easy Pod, but that's a very simple fix to do that one. And the same here for the moving bed. Those will be done very shortly, just to get things going there once I'm ready for that. The media I have soaking in a PP solution, so once everything is ready for both the Easy Pods and the moving bed filters, the media will be thoroughly cleaned and ready to go, and this kind of mess you see here will be tidied up as I bring out the air pump and set up the electrical connections for the pump, the UV, etc. So things are moving along. The big thing now is dealing with the potential for a continued leak in the pond, and I'm going to have to figure out next steps if what I'm trying to do now doesn't do the job. So the main thing for today, and again because the pond was empty, was to get that slide valve in place, and that should be good hopefully for at least a couple of years without issue, because it's brand new seals, and as I did mention a few moments ago, I do have new seals to go with it. The one that I did take out is this valve here, and it has the plastic paddle, and I think the problem again with this one was over time, as many of you know, the slide valves do tend to leak a little bit, so I could never completely seal it off. I mean, it wasn't significant, but it was enough to be an annoyance. So with the new one in there, I should hopefully have everything in place, and within the next few days we'll have done the sealing work that I want to do on the fittings, and we'll start to refill the pond. So I will be following up with some more videos very shortly, and hopefully with good news.